Today's talk you may find a little interesting because it pertains to your life, particularly those who are either millennials or the Zoomers born after 1990s. I tried to prepare it based on their profile. Now, I have been teaching about great misconceptions earlier as well, not that the first time I'm talking. But this time I would like to link it with your personal thought process based on the kind of profile you all carry with you. Idea is to tell that happiness is one of the subjects which is very greatly misconceived. Of course, there are other sciences which are also having such kind of misconceptions. In daily life, we actually have very many misconceptions. Honestly speaking, if you know the science behind it, probably we can get out of these misconceptions and find some correct way to lead life without getting any guidance or directives from someone else who may be senior, who may not be senior, or you may get it through other sources. So the basic idea today is to talk to you about happiness, what kind of misconceptions we carry. And this is very vital because many of us have misconceptions about how we think, how we believe. Last day we had discussions on the biology of belief. For example, we believe we do work the way we think. Not at all. Not at all. There is hardly a link between the way we think and the way we work. Hardly. And you are not trying to deceive anyone. It's even in a private setup, the way you think and the way you work, they are not same. So each and every person has its own way of understanding happiness. And today I'm going to raise 4 questions, and those 4 questions I'll try to answer for you. Question number 1, what makes us happy? What makes us happy? We are not very sure about it, what makes us happy. Because we know we become happy at certain point with certain achievement, and next day we become unhappy once again. Is it a form of adaptation? Is it so that we can perennially be happy? Is it so that if we are happy all the time, whether our lives would be better? Probably we will not survive if we are happy all the time. Anyway, some questions will be put forward. My next question would be, can money buy happiness? If you have got a lot of money, then whether you would be terribly happy or not, tremendously happy or not. My third question is, what are our misconceptions about happiness? Probably, can money buy happiness is one of the misconceptions, that money can buy happiness. Well, we'll discuss about it. And the final question is, why are we unhappy? What are the sources of unhappiness? Let me tell you at the outset, before I enter into the subject matter, that unhappiness is not orthogonal to happiness. Probably they are intertwined, and probably they are 2 sides of the same coin. Just 1 second. Rupen bhai, আমি একটা ক্লাসে আছি এখন। এই 4:30 ফোন করব। So the idea is that I will be talking about these 4 issues. What makes us happy? Can money buy happiness? What are our misconceptions and why are we unhappy? Let us see what makes us happy. I'll put forward more questions rather than giving you answers. And it's your job to make sure that you find some answers for that. For example, whether happiness comes from your memory of happy situations or it's the moment that gives you happiness. Like when Indian team won World Cup, that moment was happiness. Are they happy identically a year later? So what is more important for us, memory or moment in our happiness? Suppose you want to see a movie, you have gone to see a movie. That moment is more happiness, or after you see the movie, if you have liked it, the memory retains with you, that memory gives you more happiness. Whether your thought is more important for happiness, whether your belief is more important for happiness. Last day we talked about belief. Belief is not a rational thought all the time. In fact, we discussed about whether belief is a thinking error or not. So that was more a question, and that question is also with you. That, well, I pray to God, I have some spiritual inclination, and I find happiness in that. It's a belief. But is it a rational belief? Did I see God? Or is it so that there are certain thoughts give you happiness, even if it is not part of your belief? Third question, whether affluence gives you more happiness or autonomy gives you more happiness. Affluence means if you have got a lot of money, then are you happy at that point of time? Or is it so that whatever little you have, if you have the freedom to use that money at your own will, that autonomy gives you happiness? Some people believe that, well, if you have got a lot of money, then you will be happy. But it's quite possible that you can't use that money. There may be government regulation, there may be other compulsions. So if you cannot use that money, will you still be happy even if you have got too much of money? Or if you have got autonomy to use whatever little you have, like this rickshawala, he has got little money. I asked this question. He says that, no, I don't want more money. I would like to go back home and enjoy with my family. That's my happiness. Whether choice gives us more happiness or compulsion gives us more happiness. Probably I told you this story. This husband and wife, they were about to break their relationship. Then they handcuffed between themselves, remained for 123 days. And after 123 days, they realized that they can stay together. Now it was their choice to marry, but then made it compulsion that they must stay together before they actually think of divorcing against each other. Now, whether choice is more important in happiness or compulsion is more important in happiness. Compulsion gives you social obligation, choice gives you freedom. So whether freedom is more important or obligations or compulsions are more important in happiness. Whether hopefulness is more happiness, gives you more happiness, or helplessness gives you more happiness. Whether personal control, how much you can control whatever little you have gives you more happiness, or you believe in God, negotiable fate, that you do not have any control. God can control everything. And if you leave everything onto God, will that give you more happiness? Whether betweenness gives you more happiness or withinness gives you more happiness. That is, if you stay together with the relationship at whatever be the age, that gives you more happiness, or if you are alone but with a lot of comfort, pleasure, and with a very high living standard, that gives you more happiness. Whether reciprocal othering gives you more happiness or mutual valuing gives you more happiness. Reciprocal othering means you believe that we are two different, the two polarity. It may be two religion, it may be two football team supporters, it may be two political parties. Do we get more happiness by belonging to a particular group and opposing the other group? Or we believe mutual value, whatever be your ideology, if we love each other, that will give us more happiness. So these are the questions that I would like to put forward before all of you. What gives us happiness? My second question to all of you, can money buy happiness? But before I do that, let me tell you how your generation, those who are studying, either they are millennials or they are Zoomers. I mean, not like us. I was born in 1956. So, question is, there are several generations past. In fact, there are 7 generations surviving in this world right from 1910. 7 generations. Most of the Zoomers who are born after 2000, maybe some of you are slightly more than that, maybe some of you are slightly less than 20 years. Whatever be there, you have a generation, and I call it Generation Z. Let us try to understand what is the profile of your generation. Now, all of you have grown up with technology. You are born digital. One of the major source of happiness comes from technology and digital. Super play. You are always connectable because you are digitally connected via online social interaction. You are confident but open to change. You are confident what you would like to do, and you can also change if you feel that that is very rational. You reflect collectively, but you need instant gratification. That is, whenever there is something to be discussed, you collectively discuss about it, you collectively whisper about it. But when it comes to gratifying yourself, you cannot wait for the delay. The instant gratification is one of the characteristics. You are value-driven, you are diverse, you are progressive. You have a passionate desire for a better world. This is what is the profile, and if you agree, fine. If you don't agree, I'm open to criticism, because this is the profile. I believe I got it for all of you. Question is, why this generation is unhappy? Because you are so good, you have got more knowledge, you have got more capability, you have got more innovative power, you have got more value orientation, which probably the earlier generations never had. But what makes you unhappy? Let us try to see it. Number one is the over-reliance on best choice for everything. You believe that anything that you do or anything that you get, it must be a best choice. Now, there is nothing called best in this world. There could be good choice, there could be right choice. Now, making a difference between good choice, right choice, and best choice is generally poor. Generally. So you always believe that whatever be your choice, maybe job, maybe marriage, maybe education, maybe a particular choice of subject, everywhere you believe that you must get the best. And as a result of which, now, as I said, you can't have best for everything. Therefore, after some period, you become unhappy because you have an apprehension of hypothetical missed opportunity. You believe that I probably did not get the best choice. I should have done something else. So, apprehension of hypothetical missed opportunity makes you unhappy. You have a perceived sense of injustice if something goes wrong with you. And to pursue your goal, in such case, you fail to modify your goal and process. You have a poor sense of meaning, relationship, and engagement. That friendship means what? Engagement means to what extent it is meaningful and non-meaningful. These clarifications, these definitions are not very open to all of you. In fact, they are very diverse and everyone has a different orientation towards meaningfulness, relationship and engagement. The rise of news fatigue is also a cause for unhappiness. Probably in our time we did not have so much of bad news. We were never lost in tragedies. Today, either in newspaper or in television, you are bombarded with negative news. That could be one reason why it makes you perpetually unhappy. You actually have lost trust on governance. You lost trust on political ideologies. You must have lost faith on the whole social structure. And that may be one reason why we are unhappy. And also, the online interaction reduces empathy. Online interaction. That is, most of the time, your interaction is digital. And in digital interaction, you fail to have an eye contact. And eye contact is actually a social glue. I mean, it enhances the empathy. There is a specific brain structure or neurons in the premotor area of the cerebral cortex called mirror neuron. I'm sure you must have heard about it. A lot of people have got a lot of awards. One person got Nobel Prize for that. Now that area doesn't get activated because you are interacting with online mechanism or platforms. And as a result of which your empathy is going down. In fact, you are becoming more and more apathic. You believe that, well, I have a set of good friends, but none of them are very attached to me. So apathy means when you do not feel empathy. Remember, you may have sympathy. Having sympathy is not a good marker of relationship or happiness. Having empathy is a good marker. So whether online interaction reduces sympathy and causing apathy is a principal reason for your unhappiness is also a very important point to note. So given all these backdrop of your characteristic as a generation and certain factors that I have just mentioned, I would also like to say that there are certain misconceptions also which are spearheading your kind of unhappiness. For example, the issue of money, how much money, because I have a lot of friends and students in your institution, and I find that majority of them are interested in getting a very good job. And I always appreciate if you want to have a very good job. But they always think, most of you always think, how much money I'm going to get out of it. A good job means a job which gives you a lot of money. But good job can also be possible where you learn much more, where your core strength is, increased significantly. You don't call that as a good job. So I find money as a marker has got something to, something to discuss in your understanding of happiness. Now, this is a misconception. First of all, as I said, that more money does increase happiness. I'm sure you have heard the name of Daniel Kahneman, a Nobel laureate. 2004, he got Nobel Prize for the book on Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow, Daniel Kahneman. He actually has done very extensive research on money and happiness. In fact, he is not a psychologist, but he is an economist, behavior economist. That is psychology and economics put together. And he has done very extensive work on this subject matter. He found that happiness doesn't increase after a decent salary. And when you have a decent salary, by decent salary, Daniel Kahneman did research with an institution called Gallup, 4,50,000 people in US, 4,50,000 people. And he found that anyone who is getting more than $75,000 per year, his or her happiness is not increasing significantly. Their life evaluation may be increasing, but their happiness is not increasing significantly. So, Daniel Kahneman also found that lower income does not cause sadness. I have shown you the photograph of the rickshawala. He earns only 600 rupees a day, and probably he may be earning 15 to 18,000 rupees a month. But if you see his kind of happiness, and if you force him to earn more money at the cost of his family time, he will not do that. He says that then I'll lose my happiness. So lower income does not cause sadness. At the same time, if the income keeps on increasing, after a certain point, your happiness does not increase. So that point is $75,000 per year, what Daniel Kahneman found in his principal work. So the Gallup Well-being Index was studied on a 10-point scale. Now, I am not going to elaborate in great detail how the study was done because, it was a 10-point scale. Somebody who got a ranking of 4 and below are suffering. They are not happy at all. Somebody who has got 4 to 7, they are struggling. They are in between thriving and suffering. And somebody who has got 7 and above, they are actually thriving. Now, with this index, they found that money and happiness put together, there are two components which needs to be taken care of. One is emotional well-being, other is life evaluation. In simpler term, one is feeling, other is reasoning. Now, the feeling component has a direct connection with money, but the reasoning component doesn't have to that extent. So when we talk about feeling or emotional well-being, it's about your everyday experience. It's just not money. That whether you have got joy, fascination, what kind of emotion you have at a particular point of time, which is called emotional well-being. That is more moment-based. But life evaluation is more memory-based. That is your cognitive component, your reasoning component, your thoughts about your, his or her own life on a longer time scale, past 50 years. I have how much I have earned. Was that good for me to lead a life? So when you have a life evaluation on a cognitive platform, then we say that, well, $75,000 and above, it does not, the life evaluation still grows moderately, but emotional well-being does not. It means you don't become happy after $75,000 per year, but your evaluation improves slightly. Let us see a card. Now, the finding, which is published in Kahneman's original work in 2010, Kahneman and Deaton found that both life evaluation and emotional well-being, as income decreased from $75,000, both go low. That is, if you are earning $70,000 or $65,000, you become sad. That is, emotionally, your emotional well-being goes low, and you are stressed. That is, you feel that your well-being is negatively impacted. But beyond 75,000, money is important for life evaluation, but nothing to do with happiness, enjoyment, sadness, or stress. It says that in as long this is 75,000. If you can see the screen, this is $75,000 per year. Now, as long you don't achieve that, your relationship between money and happiness increases. But then, after you get $75,000, your life evaluation continues to grow modestly. There is a plateau, not that it was increasing the way it was earlier, but the happiness does not increase. So from 75,000 to $1 lakh, if you get it, your life evaluation, you believe that probably you have earned sufficient and you have capitalized your capability. You have got capability to earn like any other people or more than any other people. So you reason yourself in a betterment way, but not your emotion per se. So emotion is stagnant after $75,000. I have got no idea what would be the parallel for India. It may be 1 lakh rupees per month, it may be 1.5 lakh rupees per month. That is, it amounts to 15 lakhs rupees per month or 20 lakh rupees per month, whatever be there, because no research has been done in that line. But the essence of the whole work is that if your money increases continuously, your well-being doesn't increase to that extent. Your life evaluation may increase, but very modestly. In sum, you may get a lot of money after $75,000 per year, but your happiness does not increase. One of the reasons is, of course, the hedonic effect. That is, studies were done on lottery prize winner. They instantly get a lot of money, and it has been found that their well-being improves, happiness improves significantly. But within 6 months, they come back to their negative state of well-being once again. People say that this is called hedonic setup. That is, you adapt back to your normal state, whatever be the basal state that you have decided for yourself for happiness. So that's a different argument altogether. I'm not going into that kind of one. Our second misconception is that happiness comes from receiving gifts. If you receive gift, then you become happy. Now this appears to be a small, insignificant or non-significant statement. But both science and nature, the topmost journals in the world, have actually inquired this question, and they found this, that happiness level goes much higher when someone purchases a gift. When you receive gift, probably you are happy to some extent. Suppose you have done something, your birthday, you receive some gift, probably you are a little happy. But if you are purchasing gift for someone, it makes you happier. This study was done in 136 countries with a lot of empirical data, and it has been published in Science in 2008 in this particular body. A lot of brain studies were also done that when you become happy, by generosity, that is, you are purchasing something for someone, you are giving gift to someone, you are doing philanthropy to someone. It's an open question to Bill Gates whether he finds more happiness by earning the royalty he gets or by doing the philanthropy he does for the world over. Probably he will choose the second option, that when he does philanthropy, he probably gets much more happiness. So hedonic adaptation is the issue that I was trying to tell. It's an adaptation, a tendency of humans to quickly return to a relatively stable state of happiness despite major positive or negative events. You say, it says, it's a lottery winner study that you get the lottery and you become extremely happy, but that happiness goes down in quick time. And this research has been done, and published in a very, very important journal, one of the best journals in the world, Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. It has been found that most lottery winners go back within 6 months their adaptive level. That is, their original level was this. After getting lottery, they get a lot of money, but it gets wasted, and finally they come back to the state where they actually began. This happens to when we get salary. Our salary is increased. Now, when salary is increased, you become instantly happy. But after some period, you believe that probably that is your regular salary, and the increment will have no impact on your performance. So those who are in central government employee, we get 5th pay commission, 6th pay commission, 7th pay commission. People are also waiting for the 8th pay commission. Point is, every pay commission, there is money increasing. Question is, when the salary is increased, people become happy. Like DA increased, people become happy. Question is, after becoming happy, within quick time, they return to their original level. So performance doesn't change by having only monetary benefit. Unless you are happy with your work, your monetary benefit will not bring your happiness at work. Our next misconception. Next misconception is freedom of choice enhances happiness. If you are given freedom to choose anything, I mean, suppose you want a job and you have got a lot of choices in hand. So if you have got a lot of choices, you would be happy. But that's also a misconception. This book by Barry Schwartz is actually a testimony for that. That if you get, a lot of choices, then you would be happy. It's better to have some choice rather than no choice. Of course, if you want job, if you have one job, you will be happier definitely. But having too many choices reduce happiness because it creates a cognitive load on your system. Too many choices create burden on your system and reasoning capability, cripple your decision-making capability, produces apprehension of hypothetical missed opportunity. Suppose you got both medical and engineering after your 12th standard, and then you have chosen one because you cannot pursue both. What happens if you get both? You will have more cognitive strain, and it will not create or enhance happiness in a long-term way. So neuroscientists find that if you can free up brain with single choice, it's much better. If you think of having too many choices in life, that doesn't cause happiness for you. So it's a misconception that freedom of choice enhances happiness. We believe that longer vacation will make us happier. Now, most of us, those who are in pandemic, they now can realize, because when we were in 2019 or beginning of 2020, we used to think that if we get a week-long vacation, we would be very happy. If we get 2 weeks of vacation, we would be doubly happy. But then we have got 2 years of vacation almost. We stayed with the family. Did that help you? I don't know. Probably longer vacation doesn't make you happier. Kahneman says, the same Daniel Kahneman says that, living in the moment gives you happiness. Moment, not the remembering self that you had lot of pleasurable time in life. So 2 weeks of vacation is not twice as good as 1 week vacation. Probably in 1 week vacation you will enjoy much more. In long vacation, memories actually mix together and it does not make one happier. Happiness comes from attaining something and keeping it forever. A lot of us believe that, well, I have got something and I must retain it forever. That's another misconception. Science encourages to change this mindset. Happiness is viewed as multifaceted, which contradict each other. One should not try to be happy all the time. If you think that by keeping something in my custody or in my cupboard, I will be happy all the time, is not possible. Because the very mindset that I want to be happy all the time is not correct. Because only happiness will not help you survive. You require all colors of emotion. Happy, sad, fear, anger, surprise, disgust. Everything gives you a particular way of, helps you learn a particular way of living the life. That's very important for all of us. So if we believe that we'll keep something forever in order to be happy forever, that's not possible. So to maximize happiness, it's important to learn what suffering means, because pleasure and pain, they are two sides of the same coin and they are not orthogonal to each other. It's important that we must understand how pain and suffering also gives us pleasure for some time. Ask your mother. Probably she is a hidden hero, a leader who has sacrificed all the life, and not for herself, for somebody else like you. So she suffered, she endured the pain, but got the happiness as well. The point is that point I'm trying to make, happiness, pleasure and pain, they are two sides of the same coin. And in order to utilize the coin for getting something, we must have an experience of both happiness as well as unhappiness, pleasure and pain. Question is next, negative memories prevent people from being happy. If you have got some negative emotions, negative memories, some suffering, somebody lost, you have lost, some job lost, some furniture lost, some scooter stolen, some disaster struck. I mean, there are a lot of negative memories we all have. We all have. I mean, nobody has got one particular negative memory. Everybody has got certain negative memory. Now, if you have got negative memory, people believe that then it's difficult for you to become happy, which is incorrect. That somebody tried to develop enmity with you. Somebody was always creating trouble for you. Somebody is always trying to pull your leg all the time. It's wrong. Actually, research shows that if you have an enemy, and if you can forgive them, your long-term stress will go down. Forgiveness has got huge unburdening effect. And if you carry the load that somebody created some problem or tries to create always some problem for you, it's your problem. The person who has created, he is enjoying or she is enjoying. Only you are suffering. So if you believe that somebody has created some trouble for you, you can always forgive them and get rid of all the stress, because the more you think about your negative memories, more you lose energy. And the last day's class I told you that belief system, if you have got negative memory, negative belief, then it is going to affect your vital organ. So the study shows that forgiving people have more physical fitness and better quality of life. You can forgive some people. Not that you have to forgive everybody, everywhere, at every point. But where you believe that forgiveness will give you a better deal, you must try to exercise that kind of mental strength as compared to keeping cold aggression within you and thinking all the time about the negative memories. This is because pain reduces pleasure is a huge misconception. Actually, relief from pain boosts your pleasure. Now, I have shown you a study of the Harvard Gadget. This paper was published in Harvard Gadget. The neuroscientists have found that the pleasure and pain center is the same in the brain. The same center by stimulation gives you pleasure and pain. Initially, you get pain. After some time, if the stimulation continues, you actually get the pleasure. Experiments were done on monkeys. Initially, Old's experiment is a classic experiment. It was found that pleasure and pain centers were same. In human brain also, it has been found the pleasure and pain centers are identical. Question is then, why do I make it orthogonal? Actually, relief from pain also boosts pleasure. Pain also gives you social bond. Mother and child bondage is from pain only. Mother sacrifices all the time. If you are under pain, it captures your attention. Pain helps you recognize pleasure. Finally, the point I'm trying to make here is that pain is inevitable. You can't get rid of it. But suffering is optional. You may not suffer. You may have pain, but you may not suffer. Because suffering is psychological. If you can forgive, if you understand the reason behind pain, there is no suffering. So mother never suffers by sacrificing their entire life for their children. So pleasure reduces, pain reduces pleasure is a misconception. Almost finally, I've come to a conclusion finally that getting my dream job will make me happy. is also a misconception. Lot of researches were done. This lady, Sonia Lombreski, is a famous woman. She has written this book, The How of Happiness. She actually came to Reiki Center in 2016. I met her and we had a talk together in Reiki Center. She did a lot of research and found that getting dream job will make me happy is a paradoxical thought. That if you're, if you get a new job, you are happy at that moment. Quickly you are habituated with novelty, excitement with the new job because of that hedonic adaptation. We just had a word about it. We become unhappy soon with the dream job. What you call it as a dream job. Today you may say getting a 20 lakh job may be a dream job, but within a couple of years you may be unhappy about it. So the unwelcome experience is due to hedonic adaptation, which is purely human. Purely human. So it's a false notion that if I get my dream job, I'll be happy. Finally, if you want to be happy, don't compare yourself with others all the time. Comparison with others actually make you unhappy. Because comparison with self brings improvement, comparison with others brings discontent. If you try to compare yourself with others, you would always be dissatisfied. So, self-standard is always better than comparative standard. Lack of gratitude is also important. We get a lot of things every day, but we do not have enough gratitude. If you have come to IIT, don't think that you have come to IIT by your own intelligence and capability. Your family must have supported you. Your neighbors may have supported you. Your friends may have supported you. Even the maid servant who cooked food for you or washed your utensil, even they made some sacrifices. Did we show any gratitude, sign of gratitude towards them? So what really happens? We wake up in the morning with the gains that we have. We do not wake up in the morning with the gains that we have. When we wake up in the morning, we do not realize how much we got last day. But we focus what is that we did not get. So our tendency is always towards deprivation. What I did not get. What I did get, we generally don't look into. We are also unhappy because at times we believe that we should remain in comfort zone. Well, comfort zone may give you happiness. For some time you have gone to a movie. 3 hours you are in a comfort zone. It's a beautiful zone, but nothing grows there. And if you live always in the past or future, you will remain unhappy. The reason is that anxious people always remain in the future. Depressed people always remain in the past. About 60,000 thoughts come every day in our brain. And every time you utilize glucose for these thoughts, remember 95% of these thoughts are repeats. So if you can make innovative thoughts, it will give you tremendous happiness, even by 5% more. That is 90% let it be repeats. If you can come up with 10% of your thoughts, then it will give your happiness like anything as compared to what we have today. So happiness does not always come from material skin. This is our conclusion. It is just not a momentary feeling. It can last. It's not only meant for those who deserve it. Anybody can get happiness. I told you in a rickshaw can have happiness. Happy people are no different from others. They simply process information differently. That is happy and unhappy people. They are same people. They may be getting same salary. They may be having same physical, psychological characteristics. Only difference is that happy people process information differently. So happiness is a choice. You have to bring a sense of belongingness to the community, to the people with whom you actually live. That belongingness gives you the happiness. So it's a joke that happiness is having a real good cry. Thank you so much. If there is any question, I'll take it.